All right. Sorry I'm a little bit late, guys. So, these last couple of days I've been going through, I've been following the Mardi Gras police security. So the city's coming out saying that they have, promises from all these outside departments on additional security and police forces, but they're not really giving us a good number, how many are actually going to be there or from which departments, until recently when we got a couple of estimates from a couple of different ones that promised to be there. The biggest one being the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department, which handles the detention here in Louisiana, or in New Orleans rather. So I have this other story. New Orleans Council President eyes sweeping reforms for future Mardi Gras permitting. So there's something inside the story that caught my eye that I wanted to bring to attention. So we're going through here and they're talking about doing reform over the way that we do like Mardi Gras permitting, giving other crews or parades a chance to be in the Mardi Gras rotation and stuff like that. So that's what the main part of the story is about. But what caught my eye here is, so he said some interesting things. So the first thing, we'll start here, where he says, it's increasingly obvious that mayors kind of dictate, especially the last one, haphazardly, what's going to happen with parade routes. And there's a tremendous amount of heartburn and heartache around routes because many people decide where they live based upon what parade route they're on and look forward to it year round. He also said that waiting is unnecessary and the city already has mechanisms in place to plan ahead. If we think there's even the possibility that a route is going to be short, we have a revenue estimating committee. We know they're going to have problems next year. Right now, we know that if NOPD is not hiring at the level we want to at least hire at, we should be defining routes. We should be finding ways to try and supplement these routes and not be doing it after King's Day. All right, here comes the next part that caught my eye. J.P. Morrell, the president of the New Orleans City Council, also questioned the effectiveness of last-minute agreements to bring in outside police who may not have adequate training, which I brought up before. He said he wondered if deciding to quote, shove some cops from Ruston into the route a few weeks before the parade is scheduled to roll will actually make residents any safer. So he said what I've kind of been saying, is it really effective? We just have a handful. Is that what all that was needed for Mardi Gras to go? All right, so it continues. According to Morrell, he's still sorting out how he will pursue other changes that doesn't expect to make decisions on those until after the Mardi Gras. Still, this new city council president seems to have a clear mindset of goals. All right, so it goes on a little bit. They're talking about how like walking crews and stuff like that, like Chewbacca or Crew de Vue or Crew d'Illusion, they're not really like recognized as part of Mardi Gras. They're kind of like their own thing that just became a thing. I don't really know how to describe it. But also in the story, they want to allow the city or the Mardi Gras Council to be able to like kick out certain crews and then bring new ones in. For instance, there's a crew called the Crew of Nicks that in like 2019 or 2020, during like the whole, Summer of Love or whatever, they got a lot of heat. They've been called racist or whatever. They've also had some lawsuits filed against them from members of the crew. But anyway, what they're saying is they want to be able to kick out these crews that maybe are in the parades, but, they have this controversy or whatever around them. It doesn't even have to be controversial. They just may not be drawing like crowds, or it might not be advantageous to the city revenue-wise to bring, to keep having that crew. So they want to be able to like sit one out and bring in a different one, like a new one who's never been in. because apparently there's a waiting list for new Mardi Gras crews. Morrell acknowledged that these changes could cause some anger amongst crews, but he noted there's actually a waiting list of different people who have crews that want to actually get a route. So that's what he said. So if crews aren't willing to live up to their obligations, the city has every right to replace them. And that kind of makes sense. All right, now here's another, I highlighted it here in green so you know I thought it was important. So it says, quote, "What we need in the city right now when it comes to Mardi Gras is a recognition of a very basic fact," Morrell said. "The public funds Mardi Gras. All the overtime for NOPD, all the barricades or anything else amounts to millions upon millions of dollars of public money that subsidize Mardi Gras. The symbolic relationship between the public and Mardi Gras is that the crews give us a tremendous show that helps both lift our souls and helps the city's bottom line. To that end, when you have crews that aren't doing a good job, you're just subsidizing them." So he's essentially saying all the public money is going to, Mardi Gras. So he wants the public to have a return on investment is what he's saying. So if we're paying for security, for all the barricades, for, stuff for a particular route, and, they come off around and piss off the city, then, he doesn't think the citizens want to be paying for that. But I want to bring up this point again, where I'll read this part one more time. Morrell also questioned the effectiveness of last-minute agreements to bring in outside police who may not have adequate training. He said he wondered if deciding to, quote, "shove some cops from Ruston into the route," end quote, a few weeks before the parade is scheduled will actually make residents feel safer. So I don't know. Any of you guys out here in New Orleans, or do you guys feel any safer knowing that there's going to be a couple of cops from outside of New Orleans around the parades? Does that make you feel safer? I think what would make me feel safer is if our city just actually hired and trained more cops and actually did policing. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What about you guys? I would rather have a permanent police force instead of one that's just here for 2 weeks to help out while they collect a fat paycheck that the city's offering that we're paying for. So, I don't know. That's just me. Was there anything else I wanted to say about this story? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm always going to be weary about stuff like this. The city's crazy right now, and now we're going to have a bunch more people coming in from out of town. It's just going to be crazy. We still have the same amount of police, but we're going to have so many more people. So it'll be interesting. So basically, usually NOPD, they're, pretty trained at the whole crowd control thing. They do it every year for 2 or 3 weeks a year for Mardi Gras, so they're pretty good at it. So it'll be interesting seeing some of the learning curve from some of these other police forces that don't really have training for that. Daily Knife 2, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining me. Congrats on all your subs, bro. You're doing real well. But yeah, so hopefully we don't get anything crazy going on from some cop from out of town who, doesn't know what he's supposed to do during a crowd control situation. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess I'll leave that right there. Remember, guys, you are your own first responder, and 100% of all home invasions happen inside the home. So stay well regulated. And thank you for watching this video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you watch us on Rumble. Smash that Rumble button. I left a link to the story on my Minds and on my Twitter. So if you're interested, it's also in the link or in the description for this live stream. So you guys can check out the full story there. I also have links to all of the other stories that I've been talking about on Minds, on Twitter, and on Facebook. So follow me at all 3 of those at DeepSouthEdc. You can also find me on Instagram at DeepSouthEdc. Sometimes I do some behind the scenes, some you know, behind the scenes filming of some videos that I do. So it's always fun. Let's see, we got some people in the chat here. Daily Knife 2 says, I've never been to Mardi Gras, but watching your stream makes it sound scary, and have a wonderful day, man. It's usually not scary. It's usually a good time. It just seems like right now the city doesn't know what they're doing with the security. So, you know, a lot of police quit. So they shortened the parade routes last year to accommodate the smaller police force. But there's been a lot of backlash. So they tried to get some outside help that they say they have enough of, and the parade routes are back to their big expanded routes, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Little Klondike Outdoor says, crazy place to be at that time of year. It is. The city pretty much doubles in size. We get twice the population because, you know, everybody's coming to party. It's a fun time. It really is. Daily Knife 2 says, I'm from Northern Indiana, so nowhere near Mardi Gras season. Hey, man, you can make Mardi Gras. You can celebrate Mardi Gras wherever you are. You just got to day drink in the street. So that's fun. No, I mean, I'm trying not to make it seem scary. I want everybody to be safe and have a good time. But I also want to expose the city government for what they're doing. They're just like keeping things, you know, not necessarily lying, but lies of omission, I guess you could say. But it's really a good time. It's a big street party. Everybody just comes and parties in the street. But, you know, they're bad actors. And, you know, if everybody just keeps their wits about them and watches, you know, out for everybody, it's usually a good time. I've never had any issue, except for my own dumbass friends, like getting too drunk or something like that. But I've never, you know, had any sort of like crime or anything happen. But I don't want anything to happen to anybody. So that's why I'm kind of putting this info out there. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Do some shout outs. Little Klondike Outdoors, thanks for hanging out. Excuse me, Daily Knife number 2, thanks for hanging out. And yeah, if you guys ever find yourself this way, hit me up. We'll go to the range or something. Anyway, stay well regulated. Peace.